time to focus on anything other than supporting our families. As a government, we know that accessible and affordable access to childcare is a key to allowing women to work full-time or start a business. Madam Deputy Speaker, prior to COVID, as Australians, we should be all proud of the fact that the gender pay gap for women had fallen to a new low and female workforce participation had risen to a record high. As a result of our policies, prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, the female labour force participation rate was a near record high of 61.2%. Our government has been there and will always be there to help ensure increasing workforce participation, particularly for women. The childcare policies that we initiated in 2018 are working to help get women back into the workforce and assist them in realising their dreams. Madam Deputy Speaker, our government's commitment to childcare is clear. The new childcare package this government introduced in 2018 represents the most significant reforms to the early education and care system in 40 years. In the 2020 to 2021 budget, the government will pay a record $9.2 billion in childcare subsidy payments, which will grow to $10.7 billion in coming years. Around 1 million Australian families who are balancing work and parental responsibility are benefiting from this package. The new childcare package is providing more access and more financial support for those who need it most. The Coalition Government is providing support for families who need it via the $1.5 billion childcare safety net. Free childcare is currently available for eligible, vulnerable and disadvantaged families. Free childcare is currently available for eligible families experiencing temporary financial hardship. A 95% subsidy payment is currently available for eligible families looking for work. Full-time subsidy payment remains available for parents who've lost their jobs or have reduced hours of work via the relaxed activity test. And Madam Deputy Speaker, Services Australia are doing an outstanding job with processing times for approved childcare subsidy, on average now around 4 days. That's something working families need. Importantly, 71% pay no more than $5 per hour in daycare centres, and within that subset, 24% pay no more than $2 per hour. 90% of families using approved childcare were entitled to a subsidy rate between 50% and 85%. Around 86% of centre-based daycare services were charging at or below the hourly rate cap of $12.20 an hour. Madam Deputy Speaker, our once-in-a-generation reforms have delivered a 3.2% reduction in out-of-pocket costs to parents since our package was introduced. Madam Deputy Speaker, however, the member's motion today is misleading. The Department of Education did not provide an estimate on future fees. We can't trust Labor to tell the truth on fees, and we can't trust Labor on anything they say about this policy. Most families do not have an annual cap applied to them. There is no childcare subsidy cap for families with income less than $189,000. Around 84% of families have an income less than $189,000 and no annual cap. The member's bill also states that Australian families contribute 37% of early education and childcare costs compared to the OECD average of 18%. It is true more work needs to be done in this area, but it is in a similar level to other similarly developed nations. It is important to point out another OECD figure, and that is that the OECD numbers for labour workforce participation for women between 15 and 64 have Australia at 73.9% and Norway at 75.7%. The proportion of GDP that Norway spends on childcare is 5 times the proportion of Australia's spend on childcare to achieve a 1.8% higher labour force participation rate for women. It is a very complex policy area. It's a very complex issue for families, but it's an incredibly important issue. The Morrison government understands that female participation in the workforce is not just key to the individual prosperity of individuals and families, but is key to the future prosperity of our great country. On this side, we recognise the importance of affordable and accessible childcare and how it promotes workforce participation, growth and female economic empowerment. Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker.
Thank the member. The question before the chair is that the motion be agreed to, and I give the call to the member for Corangamite.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I stand to support this motion because childcare costs too much.